We have breaking news from overseas. The Navy says the Norfolk-based USS Harry S. Truman was involved in a collision last night.
No injuries reported.
Struck another ship sailing under a flag from Panama.
If you're thinking, the USS Truman sounds awfully familiar because just about a month ago, that carrier group for the USS Truman shot down one of its own planes and almost shot down a second.
I'm fired, aren't I?
Oh, yes.
The USS Truman, a United States Navy aircraft carrier, crashed into a freight liner on Wednesday. No, that's a bad thing? Oh, yeah, that's a bad thing. And if you know anything about being the captain of a ship, well, a very important part of that is making sure it doesn't crash into other ships. Now, more information has come out since it happened on Wednesday, and I'm going to share that with you. I'm also going to give you a little bit of an education on how ships are flagged and how this could actually be a part of the issue. What does that mean, a ship flag? Glad you asked. It means where did the ship come from? What country is it registered to, right? If it's an American freighter, it flies under the US flag. If it's a Canadian freighter or cruise liner or whatever, it flies underneath the Canadian flag. There you go, we're getting it. All this will be explained to you. But first, a word from this video's sponsor. Have you been up to date with this ridiculous TikTok ban? On again, off again, on again, off again, on again. You and I could go to any data broker's website right now and buy anybody's data for just a few bucks. Oh, and it's totally legal. Big companies with poor security are getting hacked every day, and your personal information is being sold on the internet to scammers, spammers, identity thieves, and foreign governments. And of course, they face zero repercussions because of it. What are they gonna do about all those other things? Well, sometimes it's on us to protect ourselves. And that's why I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura keeps you safe online and does all the hard work for you. They identify data brokers that are selling my information online and submit opt-out requests on my behalf. Get Aura, and in just a few weeks, you'll stop seeing yourself and all your information on these crazy sites. So even you won't find yourself when you search for yourself, and that means less spam. Aura will also continuously monitor the dark web and alert you if they find your personal information exposed. And they're gonna let you and I know fast when somebody tries to use this information to log into our bank accounts, for example. Plus, they give me $5 million in identity theft insurance just in case the worst scenario happens. You can go to my link below at aura.com/angrycops and try Aura out for free for 14 days. That'll be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, the who, what, when, why, where, and how, okay? Now, way out yonder in the Mediterranean Sea, where Egypt and the Arabian Peninsula connect, well, there is a canal cut in there called the Suez Canal. Now, there's a lot of trade that goes from the Mediterranean into the Red Sea, and the Red Sea then pushes out to the Arabian Peninsula, and then India and Asia. Ooh, major shipping route for all of you history majors, all right, that trek is a little bit nasty, and obviously you're saving a lot of fuel, cutting down the time in order to get all that freight moved from one spot to the other, or if you're doing some sort of military maneuver, get from one part of the globe to the other that much faster. And just like I said, there are freighters moving up and down that Suez Canal, and there's military vessels that are going up and down that Suez Canal. And for the most part, everybody gets along swimmingly. Swimmingly in the water, right? You crack me up. On Wednesday, 2 ships were using the Suez Canal. They had just exited it. They came from the Red Sea and then went up to the Mediterranean through the canal, and they were futzing around in the Mediterranean Sea. And that is the USS Truman, a United States aircraft carrier, and a freighter named the Besiktas. Right? Yes, the Besiktas, flying underneath the Panamanian flag. Yay, Panama. Now here's where things get interesting. The Besiktas has its tracker on. Now, similar to airplanes and how they're tracked throughout the air and civilians can watch them and say, ooh, on, stalk Taylor Swift or Elon Musk, whatever you want. Same thing can be done for ships. Now I'm going to use a fantastic video made by the YouTube channel, What's Going On with Shipping, to fantastically show you exactly what's going on. Well, the Besiktas, you can see, is being tracked and it's traveling up out of the canal. But you know what's not being tracked? That's right, the US Navy vessel, the Truman, and the battleship that's guiding him. Because duh, we don't want to leave an aircraft carrier all alone, susceptible to an attack. So I'll let what's going on with shipping narrate this portion for you, since he did such a great job.
It's going to come out through the northern entrance of the Suez Canal. You'll notice ships are peeling off to kind of a northwestern course here. Besiktas is coming through here. It's going to weave its way through that anchorage. Notice it coming in here. I'm going to stop right here. This is about the time period we believe that the collision may have occurred.
Thank you, What's Going On with Shipping. Feel free to give him a follow and check him out if you're interested with all that naval trade, etc., etc. So the collision happens, and up until a few hours ago, we didn't know how bad it was. We just knew it wasn't sinking, and it wasn't paramount that we immediately get the Truman out of there and get it fixed up. Well, we got photos now. Now, U.S. Navy reports say that the hull was breached above the water, and the only photos of the damage shown by the DOD are of the sponson being damaged. Basically, the Besiktas going underneath that overhang of the USS Truman, smashing it up pretty good, ripping a little bit off, and then peeling off in a way before the damage could have gotten worse. And even the crew of the Besiktas has taken photos and said, holy shit, look at our ship. What the hell's going on here? Why didn't they have their doohickey tracker mabob on? Along with the photos that show the damage of the USS Truman aircraft carrier, the DOD has also put out a statement. The Truman is gonna go get repairs done to it. It's gonna go get docked at a port not too far away. We're gonna fix it all up. Everything's gonna be great. And we're gonna continue this little investigation to what's going on. You know, I'm sure that ships have struck other ships before while sailing away in the ocean. I wonder what the consequences for those previous incidents were. Let me run down the list real quick, because I'm not sure if you remember this, but two happened in 2017. Both of those two collisions in 2017 happened in the Western Pacific, and unfortunately, the two collisions had a total of 17 deaths. That's right, 17 sailors from those two incidents passed away because of the collisions. One was the destroyer Fitzgerald that collided with a container ship, which unfortunately resulted in the death of 7 sailors. And the second was another destroyer, the John S. McCain, that struck an oil tanker, and 10 sailors passed away then. You want to know what happened? The commander of 7th Fleet was relieved of command, and the commander of the entire Pacific Fleet, half of the globe, half of all the water that be watering, was forced into retirement. Hey man, this is gonna be bad for you. You should probably just walk away.
Just walk away.
So now everybody's thinking to themselves, oh, this captain's probably gonna lose his job. Yeah, that's a very good possibility that he might be relieved of command. It's kind of a major up to crash your ship. If you're thinking, the USS Truman sounds awfully familiar for some reason, well, you'd be right, because just about a month ago, that carrier group for the USS Truman shot down one of its own planes and almost shot down a second. And I made a video about that. Look at that. You see that? You see that right in there? The USS Gettysburg shot down one of the planes that came from the Truman and was shooting down a second one, and luckily that missile missed. We're not sure how it missed, whether it was evasive maneuvers or they said, oh shit, that's a friendly airplane. We just happened to shoot down one of our own. We probably should stop shooting down that second one that's right behind it, considering it's probably another friendly airplane. So yes, not in the news for a lot of good things, you know? Past couple months, it's been shooting down your own planes and now crashing into a frickin' freighter.
When something happens, it is always you three.
I've been asking myself the same question for 6 years.
You've made it this far into the video towards the end. You remember when I said, hey, the flagging of these ships, it's kind of weird. Let me tell you about it. Well, now's that time. Here's a very interesting thing. In fact, I watched a video on it not so long ago, which is why I have such fantastic information to share with you all, and I'll link it below. You see, flagging a ship is easier in some countries than others. Oh, because it's so easy to change flags on a ship.
I've got a French flag. Turn it sideways. It's Dutch.
The two countries with the highest amount of ships flagged underneath their flag, their country's flag. Number 1, Panama. One of the smallest countries in the world with the 40th largest economy, surprisingly, because they get billions and billions of dollars from shipping fees. not just the Panama Canal. Yes, Van Halen, thank you. But also because of the fees that they attribute to being flagged underneath their flag. I'm saying flag a lot. Let me make this simple. In Panama, you could create an LLC. We'll say Panama Boating Company, and then you can anonymously request your ship be flagged. We'll call it the SS Butthole, right? The PSS, the Panamanian ship. I don't give a We'll call it the SS Butthole. Hey, Panama, here's an LLC that is gonna be in charge of this ship. I'm going to flag this ship underneath your Panamanian flag, but I'm not gonna give you my name. I wanna remain anonymous for totally awesome, positive, good legal reasons. I can get my flag and put it on the ship, and I can sail across the waters and the land and conduct trade. Why, thank you. You see how some people might take advantage of that? Now, the second country is Libya, which is in Western Africa and about the size of South Carolina. Now, they do not have a very strong economy, about like the 130th and 40th, and their GDP is like 9 billion. The state of Texas has a GDP that's like 10 times that. I think South Carolina's GDP is several times more than that. What is South Carolina's GDP? Interesting. So we've got a country that's super hyper focused on getting money for shipping, giving out flags to everybody. And then we've got Libya, a super poor country in Africa that's just like, please God, give us money. And between those two countries, it's over 15% of the overall shipping in the world. All the ships are flagged underneath those two countries. Now here's where things get dicey. Let's say, big hypothetical here, that you're Russia and maybe you're in a war that a lot of people don't like. So you're sanctioned by a whole bunch of NATO countries. Let's just say all the NATO countries have sanctioned Russia, but Russia still wants to make trade with France. Well, what can Russia do? Russia can pack up a ship with a whole bunch of, drive it over to Libya, literally say, hey, we're gonna sell this ship and all of its content. We'll call it Barry's Shipping Company. We'll buy that ship from Russia, buy it from Russia, have that ship flagged underneath Libyan flags, and then go right up to France, because guess who doesn't have an embargo on any Libyan goods? All in NATO. So it's not exactly how it'll go, but it's kind of how it'll go. Am I a little wrong? Yeah. Am I a lot of right? Yeah. A lot of things will happen with these ships going under different flags or having their cargo exchanged onto other ships with different flags. Sleight of hand will happen. So then other people who aren't supposed to get will get the, and people that aren't supposed to give away can give away their. Does that make sense? It's all misdirection, sleight of hand. Now, wouldn't you be surprised if I told you that the Besiktas was flagged under Panama? Oh, great. So now, even if the US wanted to be like, who owns this fucking ship? Panama can say, well, they're under our flag, but the owner applied for that flag anonymously. So, we don't really know. Good luck figuring that out. So yeah, the shipping world is kind of insane. So like the Wild West. Now, if you want to get super conspiracy theory on you, right? Remember how President Trump was like, hey, Panama, we want to get the canal back, and if you don't fucking give it back to us, then we might take it, or we're gonna stop trade with you, or we're not gonna assist you in defense. And Panama was like, F you. And then the next day they were like, all right, cool. All US military ships don't need to pay anything. And my conspiracy theorist brain here is saying, a ship flagged underneath the country of Panama just happened to ram one of our aircraft carriers, one of the jewels, the crowning jewels in all of naval warfare, a United States aircraft carrier. Boom, hit with a Panamanian ship. Ooh, well, what a coincidence. All right, best way to support the channel is buy a shirt. Check it out, Death Before Dishonor. I like it. You tankers should like it too, because you don't want to dismount. You want to stay in that nice tank. Unless there's a bunch of drones around. And then you gotta use some direct energy weapons. God, war is gonna be crazy. Ever evolving, man. Ever evolving. Cheapest way to support the channel is leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Did this happen intentionally? Was it a lack of attention from the ship's commander? Like our ship's commander? Ooh. All right. See you next time, weirdos. Whole bunch of people gonna lose their jobs today. Yeah, that's the song I'd be singing. Whole bunch of people gonna lose their jobs, okay.